What services does your government provide? At a minimum, the ability to make enforceable contracts, a court system to resolve disputes, and a way to earn your keep through legitimate work. The on-chain jurisdiction delivers decentralized alternatives to these fundamental services. To show how it works, we'll follow the journeys of 5 stakeholders: Joe, Alice, Bob, Tim, and Sam. On WeRule.io, Joe is creating an economy DAO. Think of it as founding a new jurisdiction with its own economy, defining the durations for the proposal lifecycle, the token distribution for all members, the thresholds in governance power for creating proposals and projects, treasury tax, arbitration fee, project author fee, and the value index stored as registry entries. The value index defines the supported payment tokens and their parity to the governance token. Payment tokens can be ERC20 or the chain's native token. The Jamaica jurisdiction is now deployed with Joe as the sole member. With the economy contract address, Joe goes to trustless business and starts economic activity. A project here uses one of the payment tokens defined in the jurisdiction's value index and is linked to a GitHub repository that contains a terms.md file, the hash of which is immutably stored for future reference in case of disputes. Alice backs the project with 1,000 payment tokens. Joe has found Tim as the contractor and Sam as the arbiter. As the project's author, Joe can now set the parties in the project. There's a cooling-off period, during which Alice can still withdraw if she doesn't agree with Joe's choice of contractor and/or arbiter. Once this period elapses, the project awaits Tim's signature as the contractor in order to lock the funds in escrow. During this time, contributions can still be made and withdrawn. So Bob decides to back the project as well, with 800 payment tokens, and allows 5% of it to be immediately accessible to the contractor when signing. Alice and Bob are now members of a de facto DAO, with their voting power deriving from their contribution amount. The share of the contribution set for immediate release to the contractor is not counted in the voting power. Tim commits to the project by signing as contractor and stakes half the arbitration fee. In case of a dispute, the other half would come from the backers. The Jamaica DAO has an arbitration fee of 5% of funds locked in the project escrow, as set by Joe when instantiating the jurisdiction. Funds are now locked, and Joe's job on the project as author is done. If the backers are satisfied with Tim's delivery, they can vote to release the payment. If Tim decides that he can't deliver, he can reimburse the backers. Alternatively, a dispute can be initiated by either the backers or the contractor, if the backers aren't happy with Tim's delivery, or if Tim feels he has delivered and funds should be released. Tim submits the work, but Alice and Bob aren't happy with it. They vote to open a dispute. Now the arbiter Sam has a specific interval of time to rule. Sam reviews the case and decides Tim has delivered 60% of the work, so he rules to release that share of the value locked in escrow to Tim and return the rest to the backers. Sam's arbitration fee is awarded at the time of ruling. If the ruling isn't escalated to the Jamaica DAO over a period of time, finalized arbitration may be called by anyone to release the funds as prescribed in Sam's ruling. It's noteworthy that if a project doesn't align with its standards, the jurisdiction may veto it, which closes the project and returns funds to backers. This can also be enforced if the backers can't reach a consensus on whether to release the funds or start a dispute. The earnings and spendings of all participants are accounted for, along with all their involvements in the economy. Back in WeRule.io, the tax from Joe's first project has made its way into the treasury. Participants in the economy can claim reputation tokens proportional to their spendings and earnings on an epoch-based poll model. Once they do this, Alice, Bob, Tim, and Sam are now also bona fide members of the Jamaica jurisdiction. The DAO platform inherits the logic and security of OpenZeppelin's governor standard, with added member benefits: rewards for delegates based on their voting power, and passive income for all members based on their reputation token balance. These are also claimed each epoch on a poll system from a portion of the treasury that is earmarked by the DAO for this purpose. Another novel feature of the jurisdiction are the tokenized debates. These are binary trees of weighted arguments, meant to catalyze consensus without holding executive authority over the Treasury. Game-theoretic simulations confirm the viability of this architecture of incentives. Agents learn to cooperate over time, and about 2/3 of projects complete without needing arbitration. Compared to traditional economies with external enforcement, lawsuits, credit scores, the trustless model captures approximately 85% of that effectiveness, with a modest 5% enforcement premium. Joe, Alice, Bob, Tim, and Sam each found a way to work, resolve disputes, and have a voice in how the system runs. Create your own on-chain jurisdiction at werule.io.